This video is brought to you by Sleeper, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And right now, Sleeper is doing something crazy, unimaginable. Yes, Sleeper right now is giving you a free $20. Yep, free. All you have to do is be a new subscriber and download Sleeper, and Sleeper will give you $20 in your account to play your daily fantasy pick. So if you want to pick Dak Prescott to go over his passing yards because he's playing at an MVP level, just use Sleeper. And also, if you want to make a deposit, use the code CFO. Sleeper will match 100% up to $100. So download Sleeper, get your free $20 to play daily fantasy sports, and also use the code CFO to get 100% up to $100 on your match. And let's go get this money, gang. What's up, CFO gang? Big bro Jay Tuck here on a beautiful Wednesday morning. And I want to talk about something. If y'all followed me closely on this channel, I've been saying, give me the week 6. 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 Well, we're in week 8 right now, which is kind of crazy, right? This NFL season is moving at a rapid pace. But when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, I'm often asked, yo, Tuck, how are you feeling about Schotty? And do you think the Dallas Cowboys made the right hire? Now, I want to headline you guys with this because I know how Cowboys Nation, I've been doing this for long enough. I know how you guys are. So I'm going to start with the positives. And pretty much around the 5.5 minute mark, we're going to get to the negatives. So if you want to check out on the negatives, feel free. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be a real one, right? I'm going to start with the positives. And then we're going to get to the negatives, but I know a lot of y'all like all the positive stuff. So check out probably at the 6 minute mark. I'll even put a little notation in there for y'all to exit the building. Now, when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, love his energy. I love his charisma. I love the way that he is connecting with the players. I feel like he's able to relate to the modern day athlete, right? Even though he's older, he still has a young spirit. He listens to their kind of music, right? He has tattoos. So Shotty kind of understands the demographic of today's athletes, right? So I like his composure. I like the way he conducts himself as far as his interviews are concerned. I do like the connection that he does have with the players. And I just think like he's a guy that I would want to play for, right? If I was a football player and I came across Brian Schottenheimer, I feel like he would be a guy that I would rally behind and really want to play for. Now, from a coaching perspective, I'll say the offense does have some new improvements. Now, let's keep it a buck. I know a lot of people were saying this, but Dak has had good offense, different offensive coordinators, right? So I really don't think it's just all because of Schotty. I think a lot of it is due to Dak Prescott. But Schotty and Clayton Adams and Ken Dorsey are able to find easy button opportunities for Dak Prescott and his offense. Something I've been very vocal about was moving pockets, moving the pocket with Dak Prescott, simple play action boots, like get him outside the pocket, and you're seeing that a lot, and it's opened up easy throws for Jake Ferguson. It's a simple little play action, just dump off the Ferguson, just something like that, but also the vertical attacking, right, and the spacing concepts when it comes to our offense. So I like that. Also, I do think Schotty is doing a phenomenal job of balancing the drama in Dallas, right? You know, because we had the whole conversation where he talked to Mike on the phone, said, hey, man, I know it's a bad time for us. Like, you know, it's just difficult for you. Like, so he was connecting with Micah, but also when he had to stand firm when the front office made the decision, he didn't actually lean towards Micah. He said, hey, it was a unanimous decision, and he kind of took those bullets, okay? I like the cultural changes from game day experience. So you have the individual introductions, right? So like Dak Prescott and Dak runs out, kind of like the NBA, right? And then CeeDee Lamb and CeeDee Lamb runs out. So I like that aspect. The music is different at the stadium. So I like that. I like that Schotty is trying things and he's able to actually tinker with the personnel, right? You've seen situations where, hey, Mozzie wasn't starting, and then Mozzie's starting, right? You've seen Nate Thomas coming for Tyler Guyton. You see these little adjustments. We saw what Jack Sanborn did. Now you're seeing Shamar James. So you're seeing the tinkering. He's not kind of just set in his ways. He is really trying to find his guys, right? Didn't start Trayvon Diggs one game. So you kind of see that there from that standpoint. Also, another thing that I really like when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer is taking on the responsibility for things that you're really not responsible for. And what do I mean by that? The defense. The defense, right? Schotty said, hey, I had to go and spend more time with the defense this past week and Matt Eberflus to make sure that we got things on track. So I feel like when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, being an underdog, being counted out, right? He really wants this. He really wants this to work. And I feel like he's doing everything to make things go and make this season be successful. Also raising his hand and saying, you know what? I'll be able to deal with George Pickens. Bring him to me. I can handle it, right? So taking that ownership. So those are the positives that I like when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer that I think that he's bringing to this Dallas Cowboys team. Now, feel free to check the fuck out. Feel free to check out. All right. I'm saying, go ahead. I give y'all 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's shut the door. Here are some negatives I do not like when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer. All right. 1, the whole thing that we felt going from Mike McCarthy to Brian Schottenheimer was, A, Mike McCarthy just didn't have our guys ready for the big games. All right? Green Bay lost specifically. I don't feel that's changed. I don't feel like I'm still feeling the same when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys organization and this team, right? There's lapses. There's some games we show up. There's some games we don't. Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, it's still those lapses, right? When it comes to showing up on game day that, it just doesn't feel like there's a big adjustment, okay? Also, when it comes to penalties with this team and bonehead mistakes, I'm still seeing them. I am still seeing those. I'm still seeing those holding calls. I'm seeing those, tosses to Jayden Blue gets erased because, Tolbert is holding, and like you start seeing, I'm still seeing boneheaded mistakes from Sam Williams. So I'm still seeing some of those things, right? I am still not seeing a lot of toughness, aggressiveness, and fortitude when it comes to this Dallas Cowboys team. And I'm not seeing the ability to be able to still punch and beat opponents in our own weight class. What do I mean by that, right? Philly was a good game. We lost it, right? Green Bay was a battle. We tied, right? So I really don't have that comfort level yet. And we're still kind of early to say, okay, if we have to play a team and we are not the clear favorites, can we win this game? The Kansas Cities, the Detroit Lions, right? And a lot of people want to say, well, Tuck, it's not the offense, but it's the defense. Nope. Because when we lost to Green Bay in the playoff game, that was on the defense, not the offense. All right? So those are some things that I really don't like when it comes to Shotty, right? Also, I get it. We have played well thus far, but if you really take a look at what Vrabel's doing, he's thriving out there in New England. If you take a look at what Ben Johnson did to us specifically, he's thriving. Kellen, Aaron Glenn, right? So the main difference, I would say, when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer and these other younger coaches or newer head coaches is that he has a veteran quarterback in Dakota Rain Prescott. If I was to put Brian Schottenheimer in New Orleans, I don't think that New Orleans would be a contender. They would still be the New Orleans Saints because of the personnel. So I will say that. Also, there are some things where I kind of feel like it's still too commercial, too scripted to me, right? But I think he's going to iron those things out. So I would say those are far as the negatives are concerned. But I want to be fair. Cowboys Nation, self-included, we have to move on. Move on from who? Not Mike McCarthy. I know y'all didn't like McCarthy. I love Mike McCarthy. I don't like him, right? Cowboys Nation, J Tuck included, you have to move on. And who do you have to move on from? Jimmy Johnson. Got to move on, Tuck. Let it go. You will never have a stern coach, full control, that can fully mold this team in his identity, that has some arrogance, some swagger about him, that'll let this team play free, play with emotion, have some guys who are kind of out of control, but it's perfectly fine. That's what he tolerates in a Michael Irvin and a Charles Haley. Tuck, you have to move on. That will never, ever, 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 ever happen again in Dallas. So I feel like some of us older Cowboys fans, we kind of want that. We want Jimmy. I want aggressive. I want get your ass in order, right? Or, you're bench and you get like, we want that, right? We want just a pure, aggressive ass, pure football coach with swagger and a team that plays confident. That is never coming back. What will coexist and last in Dallas is the Jason Garrett mold. And I feel like Schotty is really cut from that Jason Garrett mode. Is he Jason Garrett? No, he's more of an upgrade over Jason Garrett because I believe he's a better football guy than Jason Garrett. But he is going to do things that the Joneses will love. He's going to step to the podium and take bullets for the Joneses, right, in the organization. Mike McCarthy was throwing people under the bus saying, hey, I don't run these option routes. That ain't my shit. That's killing. Talk to them, right? He is going to give Jerry Jones the controller and let him play alongside. Some of us are bigger brothers, right? It sucked when our younger brother wanted to play video games with us. Like, damn, I don't really want him to play, right? Mike McCarthy was, I don't want you to play games with me, bro. Unplug his controller. Brian Schottenheimer will plug in that controller and let Jerry play and act like he's actually doing something as well. So when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys specifically, a Vrabel will never work. A Robert Saleh would never work. A Bill Belichick would never work. A Ben Johnson will never work. All right, and Eric Glenn will never work for other reasons, right? I must say that Brian Schottenheimer was the perfect hire for the Dallas Cowboys because no one else is going to be able to balance the pecking order, the ego of Jerry Jones, but still kind of coach the team his way for a little bit, right? So I'll say that even though we're at week 8, I will say that Brian Schottenheimer was the perfect fit for the Dallas Cowboys, and hopefully the Joneses will see that and continue to help him do the things that he needs to do to put out his vision, change the culture, and ultimately win things his way. Man, it's your boy J Tuck. Comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. If you love draft content, stay tuned today. We are getting started, and it starts today when it comes to draft field session. So turn on that notification bell so you do not miss out. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged. And all right, Shotty, I'm behind you. Let's get it. Peace.